what got me about it is the common theme is it's okay for them to do it to someone else's daughter, someone else's like cousin or whatever it is. It's okay for them to do it to other women, but the women in their lives, they need to be treated properly.
I actually agreed with what he was saying. He was like motivating men that like they have to go out and like strive and work for what they want in life.
Is it less of a human impact because of the misogyny that
Yeah,
like,
and I
especially
think there's a lot of exploitation
we're both
in it.
girl dads, right? And like the misogyny that's coming out of like the HS Tiki-Taki, for instance, it's quite shocking.
Yes, people, welcome back to DadPod. My name is NT.
I'm Chris.
I'm Bobby.
And I'm Will.
Yes, and on DadPod we talk about life, being dads, and everything in between. It's been a hot minute, so everyone that's been that's watched us before and has been waiting for an episode, we are sorry.
Thank you for coming back.
Yeah, thanks for coming back. Life has been getting in the way a little bit, like
As parents yourselves, you can understand.
The thing is, we are dads.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's
yeah.
And we're all busy.
Like,
We're
you know
all
what I'm
busy.
saying?
All the dads and mums watching this out there, I hope you understand. But yeah, we are back, and we've got quite a hot topic at the minute. So we've all watched the Louis Theroux Manosphere documentary. Is it documentary?
Yeah.
It's like a docu-series sort of thing, isn't it? Like,
Yeah. The dust has kind of settled on it in the media, but like, I think there's obviously a lot been said around, but like, from our perspective as parents, I think
we just want to like put our take on it as parents and like how this I think it's red pill thing is.
Yeah, it's an important thing to have and in the back of your mind as your kids grow up and sort of like the influences.
It's quite. I don't not in a conspiracy sort of way, but I think it's quite worrying how it has kind of gone quite so quickly. When if you look at sort
in terms of the media,
what's actually engaging young people, especially, is still very much there.
Oh, absolutely.
So it's gone quiet and the danger is still there. And it's like, if you look at something like racism, for example, which has obviously been built up over a number of, thousands of years, essentially.
Since the dawn of day, really.
Pretty much. So, like, that's obviously over time become a big issue. I think it's important that we're all aware so that this sort of attitude and mentality doesn't become a big issue.
Yeah, because with like the whole manosphere and toxic masculinity, etc., that started creeping in when I was leaving school, going to college. So I started to see like my peers buying that Tate University course stuff, and they was like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna get rich. Oh yeah, women submit." And they was giving me these different views. I was never really big on social media. My mum was strict about you have to be 13 to have it, and by the time I got to 13, I still had a Nokia 3210, so I just didn't have social media.
I had a 3210 when I was in school. So like
listen.
Have you ever charged it once?
Listen,
it's still going.
What you got to realise is I lived in a 3-story property, and I quite frequently drop things out the window. I don't know why.
It'll survive.
And it survived. So the 3210 was legendary in the Snake game. Kept me occupied for hours. But yeah, like I weren't big on social media, but a lot of my friends were. And like they're telling me about this, that, the other. And I started looking into it. And then I was thinking, this is just something that's it's gonna blow over. It's just another one of them influencers doing their thing. But it seems it hasn't blown over. If anything, it's snowballed. You've now got influencers my age, 24, 25, telling people, oh yeah, if you want to be rich, you want to have money, this, that. And then you go tech company's house and they're broke as anything.
Yeah.
It's an illusion created by social media.
I think this whole thing is kind of mutated and got to where it is now from like back in the day. So like when we were teenagers, so like late 90s, early noughties, I think society on a whole, it was very like, it was quite sexualized in a way, but in the way where it was all about like on the male side. So if you think back to them times, you had like music was like new metal coming in. So like it was people people that were like teenagers, early 20s, had a bit more attitude and stuff like that. There was the attitude era with wrestling. So it was like the women wrestlers were very sexualized. And it was very...
bra and panties match.
Exactly.
What was that?
Very explicit. Like, very popular films back then was like American Pie.
Do you know what I was about to say? American Pie. I shouldn't have watched it, but I watched it when I was like 8.
Yeah, so it was quite misogynistic and like quite sexualized, and then it kind of died down a bit, and then I think it's come back, but come back on steroids.
You know what though? One thing I could say about American Pie, because I rewatched it recently as an adult, and there is actually messages in there to say if you treat a woman nicely, things will be better.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
Do you know what? I actually, thinking about it, actually, considering when that was made.
There was a scene in there where like one of them went in a car with a college chick and he was a high school guy. And
At the start.
He's turned around and said, beautiful. And she started laughing and gone, no, you need to be a bit more sensitive. You need to talk to me. So there is little bits
There's little gems in there, but
overall,
when you're a teenage boy,
all you're caring about is the nudity.
you don't remember those bits because, like you just said, you went back and watched it
as an adult. That's when I got the small bits. Yeah. That's
like
when I
seen we watched it as teenagers. We were just remembering the bits,
laughing.
remembering the bits where like he's feeling the pie and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And
Oh yeah.
I mean,
I've just had that scene in my head.
like
When
one
his
of them
dad walks in.
trying to sleep with his mate's mum and stuff like.
Oh, you on about Stifler's mom in it, and Finn or whatever his name was, the little
Yeah.
If you haven't watched American Pie, go watch it, man.
Before this episode,
It's diverted onto American Pie.
to like talking about old films, but yeah, I think it's come back around now, and it's just like got 10 times worse. And then
I think
social media plays a big part in that.
hugely.
Because
with the platforms, it's just got even worse.
So on the Manosphere, you've got that HS Tiki-Taki. I think he is my age. Don't quote me, he might be a year older or younger or something, but he's around my age group. He goes everywhere with cameras. He's just streaming everything, and it's like he's constantly online all the time. So these people have someone they can just... It's unlimited content, isn't it? When you think about it, our viewers have probably all gone to another podcast because we're not consistent.
Please come back.
He's 24/7. Yeah, do come back. We do need you. But like, he is there 24/7 in your face the minute you wake up, the minute you go to bed, saying this, doing this, and he's showing you this lifestyle that's obviously, if you check his company's house, he's actually in a lot of debt. But it's just showing the lifestyle, the fake lifestyle, the credit card
It's
champagne
all cloak
lifestyle.
and dagger, isn't it? Like it's all cloak and dagger. And with HS Tiki-Taki, what I noticed was he's like trying to present this lifestyle that he gets like all these women that he like.
Modern day pimp.
Yeah, he treats them badly, but they still come. And like, this is how you should be like treating women. Like, don't really care about them. Just go get your money, and then they'll come to you.
Yeah, they'll come flock to you in abundance, won't they? That's sort of his.
But then he's saying like,
motto, innit?
I mean, as far as the debt goes, I'm not sure if he's in debt because from what it said, they were getting people to invest through this app, and then he gets a cut of whatever people invest, whether they get money back or not.
So that's the
the
forex
finance
stuff.
Yeah, so he gets money no matter what. Like,
Yeah, that's basically that's the forex thing.
But it's all based on like the stuff to do with OnlyFans and that, where like he was asked about what if it was your daughters, and he was like, I'd disown them if they did that.
Yeah,
and it's
that's
yet
the
he's
thing.
making money off it and disagrees with it.
And then
he's
that
got
got me.
relationships with these people who are involved in it, and like they don't seem to care that he's got an issue with it. Like,
It's quite funny as well. He was like, I'm not homophobic, like my best friend's gay. And then I think Louis was like, but you said that if your son was gay, you'd disown him.
Yeah.
and he was like, that's not homophobic.
Is that not
You know
homophobia?
what really got me is because it weren't just HS Tiki-Taki on there. There was several others on there.
We're gonna go through
Yeah, we'll go
them,
through
but
them one by one. But what got me about it is the common theme is it's okay for them to do it to someone else's daughter, someone else's like cousin or whatever it is. It's okay for them to do it to other women, but the women in their lives, they need to be treated properly. And that rang a bell to me. It's all an act. It's an act.
Well, it's from my perspective. I like to think about like what's got what's got them to where they are and
Yeah,
why they're
acting
the way that they are. And I think it is. I mean, I'm no psychological expert or anything, but I think it's quite plain to see that he is very hurt by the fact that his dad disowned him when he was a kid. Yeah. And everything that he's done since is just acting out for attention, for whatever reason, because like he's trying to prove he is
the alpha.
Because isn't his dad wasn't he like a professional rugby player?
Yeah,
or something? So he's like ultimate sort of macho sort of guy.
Very masculine profession to have. Yeah,
and so he's trying his very hardest to prove that he's this really masculine guy, and like to the point that it's getting really toxic.
He's got no real. This is the thing that gets me, like, he's got all these material things, which, you know, especially tends to be younger minds are like, oh, I'd love to have that car, I'd love to have that apartment, I'd love to have all these women or whatever. But if you look at it, who actually is he as a person? Do you think he would be? Do you think he'd be able to describe his own identity without saying I'm successful? I mean, and I think it's actually quite sad.
Tried to make him say that, and he had no clue.
So, but then there are actually a couple of things in it which, well, it was sort of the same thing said twice by different people, and that is like, if you want something, you've got to go and get it. You can't expect people to just give you something. You've got to go and get it. And obviously they were applying it to sort of men and be a man and do this. And I don't think it's necessarily just that. I think that's all people universally. Like, there are a lot of people these days who just expect things to be handed to them.
Yeah.
You're not going to get something unless you put the work in.
So it was Justin Waller. He interviewed second. Again, he come from quite a traumatic childhood. But one thing that I actually agreed with what he was saying, he was like motivating men that like they have to go out and like strive and work for what they want in life, and that is definitely a mantra that people should go.
Yeah,
for.
all people, like men and women. And
it's just the other stuff that underlines.
Yeah, while I agree with that point, like the fact that they're supporting the world that they build around that one sentence. Everything else around it is just absolute toxicity. It's like
he did seem to have a little bit more about him in the sense of like he was he had the family and he was
very charismatic, but
he was very charismatic.
He was protective of his family, and I did respect that.
He was.
But his views were.
But I still think
he was a very good salesman.
I still think he had the same identity.
What I was gonna say is so it's on the terms of being a salesman, social media influencer, and the underlying issues. Do you guys think, like, I know my generation, it's true, but a lot of dads weren't present for children in my generation either. They weren't in the household at all, just fled the household. It weren't uncommon for us to find that out in school, like that a friend's dads ran away. We used to always say to them, "Oh, your dad gone for some milk," the little joke and whatnot. Do you think the absence of fathers in a generation has contributed to people following these people?
So I had some thought about this. So I think, I mean, my parents broke up when I was younger. However, both parents were present still, so I didn't have the traditional experience of usually a father has ran away. But I imagine if you've grown up in a situation where you're just with your mum, you just assume then that, oh, your mum does everything in the house. Your mum looks after home. The woman looks after home.
And not only that, if you're the oldest,
and then you go, so it doesn't matter. And so then if you're that, you then become a dad, and you're present some of the time, you were still an improvement on your dad.
Yeah.
So it's like a better situation for the kids than you were in. So from that point of view, it is like an improvement, and you're doing more than what your own dad did.
Yeah.
But you're only measuring that against your own standards, sort of, than everyone else's standards, which is that's I suppose a bit of a grey area.
What my kind of point was, so like you were saying, people grew up with their mum, seeing their mum do all the cleaning, all the running around, so on and so forth, and then obviously in some cases you were the oldest lad in the house, the oldest son. You're now the man of the house. Do you think there's potential that, because I genuinely do believe there's a correlation between the absence of fathers and young men being easily drawn into this? Because I think the absence of their dad and that father figure, they're then seeing this really successful man on the internet, or successful in quotation marks.
Because they're seen as the father
and they're
figure
like, well,
for
how
them.
do I become successful like him? I want to be a man like him.
This is true across the board in poverty-stricken areas and like lower economic areas as well, because like if, for instance, like the roadman epidemic, they're seeing their elders
Guilty.
like they are that father figure essentially, and that's how they groom him.
Do you know what though as well? Like,
it's like,
I think in some ways people are probably more liable to those kinds of people, because could you imagine now as a parent if your child was either being drawn to selling drugs or to make money because you haven't, like, your family's not got much money, they're struggling, they're drawn to selling drugs, which again, I'd never judge a kid who's trying to put food on the table for their family. Still, it's, you know, it's a wrong thing to do, but I don't judge them as a person. Or doing something like that where it's less of a human impact. So it's almost a more legitimate way of them going to earn extra money or going to be a successful person for the family.
The question is that I would pose back to you there is it less of a human impact because of the misogyny that, like, especially
and there's a lot of exploitation.
We're both girl dads, right? And like the misogyny that's coming out of like the HS Tiki-Taki, for instance, like it's quite shocking.
So it's, I think that's tough because, okay, so a lot of his stuff's based around OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Now, nobody is... Not,
you said about human impact and like...
But not many people...
Wide-scale female impact.
But not many people on OnlyFans have got a gun to their head to perform on OnlyFans.
No, I get that. But what I would say, though, is...
It's his views that he's
I think he exploits a lot of these girls as well because he's got a name. They flock to him because they're trying to get that little bit of attention.
Because on his Telegram with God knows how many thousands.
Yeah, he's able to promote these OnlyFans go to them.
Well, yeah,
so I think
he's got young lads as his followers, and like as my profession is in marketing.
Yeah.
You go, if you're going to sell something, you go to where the audience is.
No, of course.
And I'm with what you're saying now. So the impact he's having.
The
impact he's having. No, so the impact he's having on the younger generation. So if your kid becomes him,
so
his position,
he's influencing. He's influencing these young lads to think the way that he thinks about women, and then those young lads are going to go out into the world and treat women in that way.
And then another thing,
I mean, like
it seems like because HS Tiki-Taki was a big part of the Manosphere. Let's face it, I feel like Louis made Manosphere just to grill him, and then added extras in to make it seem a little less targeted. But so HS Tiki-Taki will get mentioned. But basically, I think the contradiction of these people is crazy because. Another thing that got posed to HS Tiki-Taki was, so what do you think of OnlyFans? And he's saying he thinks men are lame that are indulging in it.
And the girls on it are disgusting.
Yeah, he's there getting his... And this is what I think the craziest thing is. He's got that much control over his followers. He's literally looked them all in the eyes and gone, you're lame. Buy OnlyFans content.
Do you know what as well? Like, there was that part.
He's literally done that. He's literally said, buy OnlyFans content. Oh yeah, by the way, because you bought it and you've done what a person would do to that content, you're lame. And they're still doing it.
But then there's also so there's two parts. So the first part was he had like Bonnie Blue on for an interview. And it was basically just to ridicule her. Like she looks like she was there for a genuine conversation.
Yeah.
And he's just ridiculed her. And she was like, you know what? You're not worth my time.
And she just got up and gone, didn't she? And just threw them.
And then for me, I'll be thinking, wow, someone who's been done by 1,000 men in a day thinks, I'm not worth their time. Like that's saying more about him. Like, do you know, that's saying more about him, if anything.
He's a massive contradiction.
But then the part where he tried to get his likes by saying something about Louis Theroux was mates with Jimmy Savile, and completely disregarded that Louis Theroux said, I actually helped bring him down.
Yeah.
Like, it completely disregarded it and clipped it up to make it look like terrorised him. He got a cheap hit out of him, and it was like...
This is where it comes back to wanting that attention all the time, and like. But I think that's a great segue. Mentioning the Bonnie Blue thing, it's a great segue onto that Myron geezer, because all he does on his podcast is invite OnlyFans women on and then to ridicule them.
You know what?
Myron, man.
He really bothered me.
He's just ridiculous. Like, invite someone on that has something about them and has
some substance to talk. Like, use your platform for something better.
I watch a channel called Aber and Preach. Shout out to Aber and Preach.
Yes, Aber and Preach. You know,
their content is brilliant. It's so funny, and they always talk sense. They never take a side. They look at all.
They're very factual. They
evaluate it from there. They have a beef with Fresh and Fit podcast.
Is that the Myron one?
Yeah, the Myron one. So they're always like taking the mick out of him. Basically, Myron is an absolute idiot. The reason being,
you had to stop and think before you had to drop a pound.
Where's that pound going?
Probably would have been worth it.
The reason being is he spouts out all this rubbish to the viewers that are watching his podcast and stuff like that. And in real life, he totally contradicts himself. Like, Aber and Preacher found out evidence like back in the day that he was a total geek. He's also got like he also struggles with like his identity as an ethnic person. So in college he was always trying to get into certain fraternities that like were like basically pro-white.
Really?
Yeah. Fast forward to him now. He's like always on certain like talk shows and stuff and like podcasts and stuff with like far right people and like racist people, and he's like agreeing with them that like we need to kick out all the Mexicans out of our country and stuff. And then they've even said to him while he's on there, like, once we're done with them, we're coming for you. And he's just there like, this is great. You know, he's an active Trump supporter as well.
I was going to say, I thought I saw something with him with the cap on.
And he couldn't even go to one of the like the
rallies because he'd be stamped on
because of the colour of his skin.
Yeah,
but he's still trying to fight for that side.
There's a hell of a lot of like black Trump supporters though.
Yeah, there is a lot of them. Yeah,
there is.
Not many of them have got his platform, and not many.
Of of course. His platform's controversial. Same as Trump, really. He's so popular.
You see, what bothered me a lot about Myron going on about Manosphere. What bothered me a lot about him was how he treated his partner in front of like everyone.
Well, she left him, didn't she?
Yeah, well, she did, and it was. Do you know what? When I seen that, I was like, at least something good's come out of this. Louis,
you know what? I'm going to be honest. There was a part on one of the one of the bits of the podcast that he did that actually had me torn. So he's asked this woman what she expects of a man. And she's like, he has to be earning 300,000. He has to be like a 10 out of 10.
They've done the statistic thing.
Yeah. So like the statistic part after, I thought, do you know what? I mean, fair. It's like, you know, that's saying earning that much money is going to limit the amount of men massively. Like,
of course.
And so it is like, okay, so you've got far less chance of meeting someone based on that alone. But it's like, what's making women think that that's just something they can demand? Like, and it's not a woman thing.
I think it's a culture thing in the States, isn't it? It's a culture thing,
like,
and the fact that like because the dollar is worth less, so technically they're getting paid more in terms of the number.
No, but at what point
they get paid more because of the
exchange rate?
Yeah. No, it's the medical.
The medical insurance.
Because you have to pay for insurance and stuff like that. So you get paid more.
My point is, why can't she be like, okay, well, I'm earning this much money, so I'm okay. I don't need the man I'm with doesn't have to earn so much money because I'm covered. I'm sweet.
Yeah,
they need to be loving, caring, considerate. It was all like material.
No, I get that. I do get that.
to a point, it's a cultural thing, but again, it's how you're raised, isn't it? You're a product of your environment.
So this is the thing now. So we've got women, and it's not just her. There's a lot of women who demand that sort of thing, and then you've got young guys who are hearing that, then seeing someone like HS Tiki Toki and thinking, I need to go and get that so I can get this.
Yeah,
otherwise I'm going to have nothing.
Yeah. I can
So
guarantee.
It's sort of like it's a bit double edged there. Do you get what I'm saying? So
it is a bit of a double edged sword. I think personally, though, so you have obviously the culture of there's certain women out there where men have to be this, they have to have that, and it's high expectations. But I feel like the men that are now leading these platforms and this whole manosphere thing, they've took it the level above that. They said, all right, then if we earn all this, you've got to let me deal with 10 different girls, treat you like dirt off the bottom of my shoe.
No, do you know what? I'm not
the script onto them.
No, I'm not just so like I'm not going to justify that because I think treating anybody like disrespectfully is bad. Like treating any full stop.
Yeah, of course.
But if someone's making a material demand, there's nothing wrong with the other person making a material demand.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
Yeah, of course.
No.
I hear that.
You're
Yeah,
right in that sense.
So there's no. So like that's where my issue is. It's like so we're all coming from a point of view where we're decent guys. Like we are decent people. We're coming from that point of view, but we're almost looking at a world there where both sides actually in that part
have a part
are
to
in
play.
fact completely unrealistic.
I think it is a case of it's very lazy, like with everything that you see of that ilk on the internet. It's when do I use the word ilk?
Yeah, where did that come from?
I'm turning into my mum.
That's going to be a great short. That's going to be a great short from this. When did I use the word ilk?
You gotta go like pop up a definition of the word.
It's an old English word. Like.
Just a question. What does it actually mean?
With his birth certificate next to it.
But no, when you see things of that, I think it's very lasered in and focused on. It's like taking, for instance, Common Affairs with Farage going at asylum seekers when asylum seekers don't actually they're a drop in the ocean
of the
they
problems.
don't affect anything.
That's the problem, isn't it? that is the problem. Like,
I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that.
oh my god, that is the problem though. So it's a very small niche part of like the internet that's slowly seems to be seeping out
into the real world as well.
Okay, all right.
To make it a massive
so
issue.
that's exaggerated. So like on a standard level, you always remembered the girls that were your age who would look at the older guys because they had a car.
Yeah,
so there's that material interest there. That's everyday life.
Also, as well, like usually, most of the time, a certain class will want to marry a certain class, won't they?
Yeah, because they're growing up around that sort of thing, I guess. Yeah. But then, like, I look at, like, you know, you look at, like, some of the younger girls now, and obviously I work with the sample I work with are obviously in a bit more sort of extreme circumstances than your everyday mainstream kid. So their views are potentially more liable to be sort of warped. But their expectations of what a guy should be and the guy's expectations of what a girl should be, it's insane. So then you've got the girls who were like 13, 14, turning up in some crazy makeup.
Yep.
And like they've got to put 2 hours of effort in before they even leave their house.
Skirts half the size.
And then you've got the lads who are very like self-aware of their image.
Yeah, they've got proper fades, nice fades.
And it's like it's like they can't
Gucci bag.
It's like they can't function if they have all this stuff. Now, like, so I'm pretty sure I remember like kids now, like kids when we were at school, like sneaking cigarettes, weed, whatever into school. Now they're like sneaking makeup in, like, and then just like leaving lessons to go and put makeup on.
Yeah, that's mad.
To keep on top of it and that. And so it's like whose standard are they setting themselves to?
I think.
You get what I'm saying? Like, that's the scary thing for me because that sort of, you know, is a woman who's putting that much work into her makeup, in her eyes, does that demand that a bloke's going to have...
Or does it give a higher value or something? Yeah, of course.
She's putting effort in elsewhere.
I think...
And don't get me wrong, like that sort of traditional family setup, if you like, where it's like, you know, the man goes out to work, the woman stays at home with the kids. I think that's a nice model, but
Yeah,
I
it
also
works.
think it's interchangeable. Like, if the woman's got a better career, if she goes out to work, and
flip it around, flip the script.
It's all about that teamwork. That's
100%.
what it is. It's teamwork, and that's for me. That's not being.
So I
you don't
think
see that sold anywhere.
We spoke a lot about the manosphere, the problems we have in it. As dads, you're a girl and a boy dad, you're a girl dad, we're boy dads. As parents, how can we now combat this? Because
Baseball bats.
we're in 2026, that's not legal anymore. Not that it was ever right, but once upon a time it was legal. Anyway, so Bobby's threw me off. In my head, I was just more thinking, we need more stuff like our podcast. We need more stuff where there's genuine people stepping up.
It out there.
But it needs to be showcased.
I think there's things that combat the manosphere.
What I think the problem is as well
in the forefront.
What I think the problem is as well, I get Louis Theroux going and exploring the manosphere, but how many people have gone and watched that and then become HS Tiki Taki followers and never knew about HS Tiki Taki before? We seem in this world of media to give platforms to all the wrong things, do documentaries on Bonnie Blue, do documentaries on HS Tiki Taki because that's relevant. No one does a documentary on the bloke who made a whole load of YouTube videos. It's all on... Because there is a guy on YouTube who grew up without dad, made a whole load of YouTube videos basically saying, this is how you tie your tie. This is how you shave your face. I've seen it and I searched it. It's a real thing. It's a real guy.
Amazing.
No Sky News.
Right.
No Louis Theroux docuseries. No Netflix special.
We will leave the link to that channel in there.
Okay, so
anyway.
do you know exactly what it is?
We need to put a push on the positive things because we're giving documentaries to all these... Yeah, and yeah, it's another pound, but I don't care. Giving documentaries to all these people in the wrong ones, and then the geezer who's teaching young men how to tie their tie to get ready for an interview might get a Facebook post.
Well, so social media essentially, one big factor that we never really talk about is part of it's entertainment. Now, we see something, you've seen something like that. I haven't heard you mention that before.
Okay.
So I haven't heard you mention that before, and that's not a reflection of you. But
no.
But then if you when you saw something about Diddy being done for doing all this, that, and the other with baby oil and whatnot,
did he do it?
You're posting it on all the...
you're like, oh my God, have you seen this? And it gets shared, because it's like, oh my God, I can't believe that.
We're guilty of it
There's no shock
ourselves.
value. It's not a guilt thing. It's what sort of...
It's just entertainment.
Yeah, it's the entertainment side. It's something that's got like a wow or a shock factor or something. So it's kind of normal stuff almost isn't celebrated because it's normal.
So how would we combat the manosphere then? With that being said, how do we combat it?
Sticking to values.
Yeah.
So I will make sure that my girls will never accept anything less than respect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that ultimately is the foundation.
Yeah, it boils down to giving your kids purpose and self-esteem.
Okay.
In my view.
Yeah.
And with self-esteem, things like OnlyFans wouldn't happen. Things like HS Tiki Taki going off, I kind of disagree with the self-esteem and OnlyFans not happening.
Because some people are just all about the coin, aren't they?
And ultimately,
pictures of your feet on Feet
ultimately, sex
Finder.
sales always will.
Yeah, but you can sell pictures of your feet on Feet Finder. There is other ways to make money.
Yeah.
So if you...
I wonder how you got a new car.
At Just Will.
For me,
just
Will's hairy feet.
having sons, how I would combat it is I would teach them to have respect for themselves and other people. And I'd also subconsciously make sure that they don't treat women any lower than the standard that they would treat their mum,
100%.
their aunties.
Nan's cousins.
Here's a
or anyone that's
question.
female in their family.
Here's a question, and this is, I guess in a way I'm somewhat traditional. What would you define as a gentleman?
As a gentleman?
So chivalry. I think chivalry is needed. Not necessarily opening the door every single door you see.
Are we talking modern day gentlemen or
what do you see as a gentleman? What is your perception of a gentleman? Yeah,
I think it's changed.
Someone who's just...
But what is it?
let's go around. Let's start with that you then.
I think a gentleman is somebody that carries themselves very well and is always respectful to anybody, no matter what their gender.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Chris, what do you think a gentleman is?
Confident in themselves, have a lot of self-esteem, pay like respect to CEO and janitor, races, the diverse cultures that is in life. And I think in terms of being in a relationship, a gentleman would be being part of the team. I've always viewed my relationships as a team rather than like because you sometimes you do have to pitch in more in some areas than
it's all about compromise, isn't it?
Yeah,
so,
it's just
it's compromise. It's working together because you ultimately you're working towards the same goal.
No, of course.
And this is
And
exactly...
I would say for me as a gentleman, like I'm a gentleman. No, but I'd say for me a gentleman's someone. So overall, in general, is someone who's a bit selfless, puts others before themselves in a sense. So like not everything they do is for them. It's for the better interest of those around them. Yeah. Someone who wants
greater good.
I'd say it's someone who comes into a community, an area, a room, or anything like that, looks around and thinks, well, how can I make this better? In positive ways. To me, that's a gentleman in the community and a gentleman in a relationship. I believe chivalry is something which is dying and should somewhat be brought back because we need to honour the people that give birth to our children and the reason we're alive. Simple as. And then number two, it's team effort. There's times in my relationship, and this is what I explain to a lot of people. Think about the word relationship. You have a relationship with your boss. It's not romantic, but it's a team.
Yeah.
This is now just a romantic team. When it's a love affair, a love relationship, it's a romantic team, a team that loves each other romantically. So there's times in my relationship where I've not been as productive as I could be, but my partner's then picked up the slack there, and then vice versa. When things have gone left for her, I've had to pick up a bit of slack.
Yeah, exactly.
And instead of moaning at her, I've just got on with it, check that she's okay, because that's another thing. A lot of people will just get on with it and forget to check the other person's okay. So check they're okay and see how I can help them to get back on their feet rather than shouting at them for not being on their feet or getting mad at them because I'm doing a bit more. So to me, a gentleman's that really.
That's it, and this is what we should aspire for all of our lads to be, and that's not our own personal kids. That's our next generation of
100%.
Like, and I think that's something that's been lost, and I think. And the reason why I asked the question of what's your perception of a gentleman is because it can almost be tied in with the old traditional way, traditional misogyny.
Yeah, man, that goes to work.
So, that word can be tied in with that. However, we've all said I think it's changed. And do you know what has changed? The way we do see things. Mm-hmm. And I think if I was 2 generations older, I probably would have been a typical bloke back then. Most likely would have been because that's the environment we were in.
Yeah.
However, now I'm very much the same. And it's like, I will look after the people I love, and I will respect the people I don't know.
Yeah,
and again, it's literally as simple as that. Like holding the door open. If someone's coming through the door after me, I'm holding it open. No matter who it is.
Yeah, of course.
Has stuff like that though been lost in this next generation coming up?
I think that's a mixture of social media and a 24/7 world. Everybody,
do you know what else I
especially
think
in
it's a mix of?
in so much of a rush.
I think it's also. I don't know how to put this without saying it as direct as it is. People have got so comfortable with saying absurd crap without getting punched in the face.
No, there is a bit of that.
Yeah, there is a bit.
That there alone,
there's always that.
I could not post half of what's being posted now on Facebook and then go to school the next day without getting battered.
Hashtag bring back the baseball bat.
Standard, man, but not for the same reasons you're on about, bro.
I think it just boils down to that being you're a product of your environment. There's a lot of experts say that you, especially like children psychologists and stuff like that, they don't do what you say, they do what you do.
And that's what it is. You know what?
Yeah.
That's how it's brought back to like when the dad is absent or when a mum is absent. This is where these gaps are happening for these people and where the insecurities are coming in because they've not been shown how to be a man or like how to treat a woman and stuff like this, or a woman to be treated.
Yeah,
and stuff
We've
like
got to model it. We've got to model it essentially, and that's the way you deal with it is consistency and being it yourself, and that like obviously in some of the work you've done and some of the work I do, we're in positions where we do work with kids who haven't got that
of course,
that role model to look up to. And the thing is, any man or any boy is going to look up to a man more because they see a man. It's like a black boy will look up to a black man more because there's more relation.
Something.
It's not to say you can't have other stuff, but they see themselves more. Like you see yourself more. And
Natty said on a previous pod about he's seeing the shift between like his sons going to his mum, going to their mum, and now they're going to Natty more.
They're seeing themselves in the Natty more, and that's so. Not having that there is going to have an effect. It's going to have a major effect. So I think all we can do there, in jobs like what I do, we've got to be very mindful of that, and we've got to be patient 100%. And just model it.
You're almost the father figure for these.
You can be.
Definitely. It's something I was taught in training actually. Like when I went into training, we was taught about people having attachments and how to spot attachments with young people, because some young people will form what is an unhealthy attachment, but they're not doing it deliberately. They're doing it unbiased.
Do you know what?
Based on stuff, and we had to work because there's a fine line between whether an attachment is going to be unhealthy and it can be, and whether it's going to be healthy and useful. So sometimes like it'll be useful because they'll come to you about anything, but other times, for example, it might be a female getting attached to a male because she hasn't got a dad in her life, but then she's also now romantically in her head attached. So you have to be able to spot them signs.
I've actually come across that, and I think it's possibly because of my girl dad and because of my little sister being a lot younger than me. Mm-hmm. So like I tend to build quite positive relationships with the girls I've worked with, and some people can have a weird perception of that. And I'm very aware that people can have a weird perception of that. So, like, I always make sure, like, if I'm in a room, I've got my distance, there's a door open, that kind of thing. But I think I give them space to set boundaries.
Yeah.
And I think that's just as important as me working with a lad and being like, this is how we treat people. So with a girl, it's almost like this is how you should be treated.
Yeah.
You should expect this as a minimum. Like this is
a great way to spin it, isn't it?
Do you get what I'm saying? So it's like, obviously, especially because of the dangers of whatever kinds of people are around, I'd rather be scrutinised and people question it, and there still be something positive come from it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So going back to that documentary of the Manosphere and stuff, and how we kind of identified that a lot of the guys that he interviewed in there, they came from like very traumatic childhoods in one sense or the other. So that's why one of them's constantly looking for attention. The other one's kind of got a blurred relationship of how a man and a woman should be, etc., etc. And we've just been talking about like how we're going to show our kids like this is how you respect people. This is the respect that you should expect. But what if a child growing up now only has one parent? And doesn't have a dad or doesn't have a mum. How do you think they are gonna get those values that we're?
It's gonna be the people around them in their primary, their secondary civilization. So it's gonna be their peers, like Bobby said.
Yeah,
and obviously some of their peers will have both parents.
Could be grandparents.
It could be teachers, youth workers. Just basically anyone that's around them in secondary because you have primary education, which is the stuff you learn in your household, what you learn amongst your parents and your friend, not your friends, your brothers, your sisters.
Yeah.
Then you have your secondary civilization and education from outside the house. So I'd say, obviously, for the single parented families, you try your hardest to fill that void and do what you can. But it's the secondary, so just watch who your children are around.
Yeah. But you got to remember as well, right now, especially, maybe there won't ever be a solution for it. But those people who will be good role models are there, but the people who aren't the good role models are much
also
louder. They're much louder.
Yeah,
they're heard much easier.
And that's what the scary bit is. So it's like what I was mentioning earlier. The man on YouTube teaching young lads how to tie their tie. I've only mentioned that during this debate, But then me and you have drove from Birmingham to Burton several times, and I've never once mentioned it to you, and because it's just something that I remember it, but it's not screaming as loud as HS Tiki Toki, who's doing
at the forefront.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's not. Right then.
Yeah.
That concludes today's episode, people.
Let us know in the comments your thoughts about the Manosphere, the current situation, the influencers.
Yeah.
Have you seen your children, teenagers, being affected by it? How would you combat it?
How are you going to tackle this situation?
Yeah. How would you as a viewer go about combating it, man? Let us know in the comments, man. Let's get chatting, typing away.
We will reply.
Yeah,
we will reply.
Might take us 3 working days.
We are back now, people. So we are going to be more consistent with the episodes now, moving forward. So stick with us. We're here for the long haul.
So, one last thing. Be a man, and by that I mean be a good person.
A great way to end the Manosphere episode.
Be a good person.
Do not buy into the pyramid scheme. Pyramid scheme. But yeah, this has been DadPod, people.
Love it.
Peace out.
Peace out.